Hello, future RMTs. Welcome to the discussion of liver function, which is the last topic in Clinical Chemistry 1. But even though that this is the last topic in Clinical Chemistry 1, I want you to remember that this topic is essential, important in your clinical chemistry book, most especially in enzymes. Now, for this topic, our learning objectives or learning outcomes are as follows. Describe the physiological roles of liver. Identify the enzyme most used to assess hepatocellular and hepatobiliary disorders. Evaluate liver-related data and correlate data with normal or pathological states. To start, let's discuss first the anatomy of the liver. Now, let's have a basic review of the anatomy of the liver. Remember that a liver has a complex process of biosynthesis, metabolism, intake, excretion are all work of our liver. These are important, these are essentials, no, in sustaining the life of an individual, in sustaining our life. Remember that the body, no, functions well because of these major organs. No? Because of these major organs. And one of those major organs is no other than our liver. Aside from that, the kidney, which was discussed in the previous discussion. Yan, mga mahalagang organ yan eh. No? The rest are just accessory. Well, the heart is also important. Remember guys that our liver is located under the diaphragm. No? Located under the diaphragm. Hey, we have what we call the hepatic duct. And this hepatic duct is the one that connects this organ to the gallbladder. Take note that our blood also passes through our liver. No? Blood is supplied from the portal vein, no, of the liver. No, it is supplied from the portal vein, no, bringing absorbed materials to the liver. But of course, you also have the hepatic artery that providing oxygen naman for metabolic processes. Take note, people, that our liver, no, is roughly 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms in healthy individual. Okay, so that is for the anatomy of the liver. How about for the functions? No? Kagaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo, like what I've said, it has a wide variety of actions or functions. For synthesis, metabolism, excretion, intake, excretion, detoxification, no? That's why we said that our liver is our chief metabolic organ. Take note of that our liver is our major or our chief metabolic organ for the metabolism. Our kidney is our chief excretory organ, the one that will dictate who will be eliminated in this body. Take note also that the liver is divided into two lobes, and this lobe is divided by the what we call falciform ligament. Ayan. This is the falciform ligament that divides the liver into right lobe and the left lobe. As you can see in our illustration, the larger portion of the liver lies on the right side and the smaller portion of the liver lies on the left side. Okay? This is our right lobe and this is our left lobe. Sir, bakit parang baliktad? Sige nga, ano to, likod mo? Diba? Pag umarap ka, that is your right lobe. O balik ka naman yung laptop mo, iharap mo sa salamin, this is your right and this is your left. Okay? Now, like what I've said a while ago, the blood that supplies to the liver from the from the portal vein that supplies nutrients-rich blood. Remember that 1,500 ml per minute is the rate of the blood that is passing through our liver. Now, from the portal vein, no, which carries the nutrients, bringing absorbed materials from the gastrointestinal tract. And 75% of the total blood supplies pass through our portal vein. Now, for hepatic artery, this is the one, as we all know, artery carries oxygenated blood. Therefore, hepatic artery is the one responsible for providing oxygen-rich blood needed for the metabolism, and roughly 25% of the total blood supply of the liver. No? Diyan pumapasok sa hepatic artery. Now, like what I've said, no, there are functional units. Kung kay kidney ang functional unit ay si nephron, how about for our liver? So if we are going to discuss microscopically the anatomy of liver, we have what we call globules. Again, globules is the microscopic unit and the functional unit of the liver. Please take note of that. That globules is the microscopic unit, and at the same time, this is the functional unit of liver. So yung kidney, nephrons. No? Take note, guys, that this is the one responsible for all metabolic and excretory functions. Again, the major action of our liver is for metabolism. Excretory is secondary because the major organ responsible for excretory is our kidney. Though our liver is also capable of that. However, it is still our kidney who will dictate the elimination. Now, there are two major types of cells that can be found in our liver. We have the hepatocytes, which is roughly 80% of the liver, and we have the Kupffer cells, which is the macrophages of the liver. No? When we said Kupffer cells, that is our active phagocytes capable of engulfing bacteria. That is the response of the body, the response of the liver, if in case that there is a foreign substances. While for hepatocytes, since this is the 80% of the organ, 80% of the hepatocellular, no, this is the one responsible for the regeneration of the liver. Now, I want you to take note, people, that our liver is capable of what we call regeneration. Remember me, Beshi, liver has this unique capacity to regenerate the cells by cell division and hypertrophy of remaining tissue in case of tissue injury due to biliary obstruction that forms what? Scars and toxic changes. These toxic changes, no, itong mga biliary obstruction na to, kaya nagkakameron ng scar ang ating liver because it regenerates. Because that is the natural response of our liver. I love the topic. Because that is the natural response of our liver against toxic changes, against tissue injury. However, dagdagan natin. Even though that our liver is capable of what we call regeneration, if there is 80% of the damage or 80% of damage in our liver, naku, patay tayo dyan. That's the overall abolishment of the total liver function. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? 80%, more than 80% of our liver cells are being destroyed, then expect that there will be an alterations in the total function of our liver. Liver, as we define, is the major organ for metabolism. Now, what I have here in my skin, what I have here in our skin, this is a structure of our liver divided into two lobes. No? This is a cirrhotic liver. Yan, may mga scars. That is cirrhotic. That is a scar. That is a response of our liver in the damage. This is a normal liver. This is a cirrhotic liver. And this one is a cirrhotic liver or cirrhosis with hepatocellular damage due to carcinoma. Okay? Please do not forget that our liver is capable of regeneration. However, even though that this is capable of regeneration, it is seen to be it is seen to have a abolishment in its function if more than 80% of the cells are being destroyed. Now, like what I've said, there are a wide variety of actions ang ating kidney. The same thing, no, with our liver. Ano yung mga functions na yan? Synthetic function, conjugation function, detoxification function, excretory and secretory function, no? Kasi may hormone din na sinisecrete ang ating liver. Storage and metabolism. So first things first, let's discuss synthetic function. No? Kapag sinabi natin synthetic function, synthesis, capability to produce, capability to synthesize, capability to make, for example, protein. Diba? When we discuss protein, we said that total plasma protein is synthesized in the liver. That's why if there are abnormalities in our liver, if there is a problem in our liver, one of the best analyte that is being used to evaluate the function of our liver is no other than our total protein, albumin, and globulin. Kasi siya yung nagsisynthesize Siya lang ang nagsisynthesize nun. At kapag meron tayong tinatawag na hypoproteinemia, hypoalbuminemia, hypoglobulinemia, and all hypo in particular to protein, ibig sabihin, there's a problem in the synthetic function of our liver. In other words, there is a problem in our liver. Ano pa? Ano pa ang sinisynthesize ng ating liver? Our liver is also capable of synthesizing, ito na pala, sorry. No? Also capable of synthesizing a glycogen. Sabay saan natin ginagamit ang glycogen? Glycogen is used by the body to convert non-carbohydrate compound to resource as the carbohydrate in cases of starvation or in cases that there is no enough glucose in the body. Si glycogen, isa siyang hormone na nagpo-promote ng production of your glucose. Hindi lang si protein ang kanyang sinisynthesize. Clotting factors is also synthesized by our liver. Ano yung mga clotting factors na to? These clotting factors are essential for the maintenance of homeostasis. Remember also that our liver is the major organ for the metabolism of cholesterol into the bile acid so that this cholesterol may be metabolized. Now take note that these bile acids are important in the digestion of our triglycerides and other lipids that includes cholesterol. Si liver ang gumagawa niya. Okay? So ito, nabanggit na natin to last time. 12 grams of albumin ang napoproduce ni liver per day. Right? And PPAG, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, no? PPAG is the most important liver function test. Kasi si liver lang naman ang nagsisynthesize ng protein na yan Alright? Now remember that the liver is the major or the chief source of several important biochemical molecules, including our cholesterol, our bile salts, no, the formation of our glucose from non-glucose compound, fatty acid metabolism, yung bile acids na yan na tinatawag natin, no? And remember people that our liver, no, is also capable of the glycogen, no, synthesis of the glycogen. Ano sabi ko na ata yun? Anyway, now remember guys that mga pinagsasabi ko, mga nasa slides pala. I'm sorry, natadala ako ng emotion because I love this I love this topic. No? So glycogen will be converted as glucose. Glycogen is synthesized in the liver and it will be stimulated by glucagon, the hormone. No? Yung glucagon, yung hormone that will stimulate the liver to synthesize carbohydrate from our glycogen, the stored carbohydrate in the liver. Once this is available, once the body requires it, it is easily accessible. Okay? Plasma proteins is also synthesized in our liver. Albumin, the most dominant. As we all know, albumin sa yung pinakamataas na plasma protein sa katawan natin. Right? The most abundant protein. Thyroid hormones, even though this is not synthesized, gusto ko lang maliwanag that thyroid hormones and steroid hormones are not synthesized by the liver, but these hormones requires transporter that is synthesized by our liver. No? Again, thyroid hormones and steroid hormones, hindi yan sinisynthesize ng liver natin. But this hormone requires a protein transporter that is being synthesized by our liver. Now, how about for metabolic functions? O, di ba? Sa synthetic function pa lang, sa synthesis function pa lang, diba na tayo. Ang dami ng ginagawa ng liver natin. Kaya ikaw, tigil-tigil naman na yung pag-inom mo. Because it can damage your liver. Pero you're a fan of drinking alcohol, good for the heart naman, bad for the liver. Even though that's good for the heart, increased amount of HDL can cause, can lead you into high risk of cardiac arrest. Baka nakasabay mo, sinasabi ko sa'yo, tigil-tigilan mo na yung alcohol na yan. Okay. Now for metabolic function. For the metabolic function, we have your gluconeogenesis, the formation of your CHO from amino acids. From amino acids. So take note that gluconeogenesis is by an enzyme activity. Enzyme system in the liver. Now, in addition, take note of this, in addition, protein formation in the liver also regulates protein levels by metabolizing proteins, converting back to amino acids. And from that, our liver is also capable of metabolizing the urea, the end product of amino acid metabolism. Kasi bakit? Anong sabi natin dito? Ang sabi natin, kanina, our liver is capable of regulating protein levels that will go back to amino acids. And these amino acids will be synthesized to form your urea via what we call deamination, forming free ammonia. And this free ammonia will be converted into urea so that this urea, a toxic waste product from the metabolism of our amino acids, will be excreted in the urine. That is the action of kidney. Yung excretion. Ulitin natin. Yung ating liver daw capable of forming back the protein formation to amino acids. These amino acids will be metabolized. And the end product of this amino acid metabolism is your urea. Bakit na-form si urea? Urea was formed in the deamination of our amino acid. Deamination means removal of your amino group from the amino acid, forming free ammonia, and this free ammonia must be converted into urea so that this will be excreted in the urine through our kidneys. Because too much accumulation of this urea in the body is an indication of impaired action of our kidney to excrete waste products. Okay? Now, liver can do three things. Actually, hindi nga lang three things. No? glucose for its cellular energy, circulate glucose for use at the peripheral tissues, and store glucose as glycogen. These are the three things that liver can do in case of our metabolic functions. Okay. Now, how about for conjugation? Conjugation of bilirubin. No? Conjugation of bilirubin from bilirubin 1 to bilirubin 2. Okay? Our yung bilirubin conjugation, I will discuss that later. Our kidney is also responsible of what we call detoxification, and that is one of the most important function of our liver, aside from what we call metabolism. Our liver is our chief detoxifying organ. So ano yung ginagawa ng ating liver? Our liver has a wide variety of action, which includes detoxification. We have what we call first pass. And when we said first pass, please take note of this. This is let's put it in a context that you will understand it easily. You will enter the school. You will enter the school without your ID. The policy of the school is no ID, no entry, pero pag kakilala ka ng guard, entry ka pa din. Joke lang, kidding aside. No? Let's put it in that way. No entry, no ID, no entry. No ID, no entry. If you don't have the ID, you're the guard that is the gatekeeper. The guard that is in the gate will not allow you to enter the premises of the institution unless otherwise you have the ID. It's the first pass. Let's put it in that way. In a medical speaking, a first pass is all substances absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract, no? Medyo pumiyok tayo doon. Sige, tumawa ka. First pass, no, is that all substances that is absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract must first pass through the liver. Si liver pala yung gatekeeper natin. Okay? Ano yung gagawin ng liver? Titingnan niya. Ay, okay ka bang pumasok sa circulation or hindi? If you are not good for the circulation, then the liver will throw you to kidney. Excrete mo na yan kidney. That's a toxic waste. Now, remember that in toxification, enzyme reactions is carried out. Example, ammonia. Now remember that ammonia is formed from amino acid metabolism or microbial breakdown of urea in the gastrointestinal tract. Now, this can be toxic if high enough concentration. Tama? Kasasabi lang natin nung nag-discuss ng NPNs na high amount of ammonia is toxic. Anong gagawin ni liver ngayon dito? Conversion of these toxic substances to non-toxic substances so that it will be eliminated, it will be excreted. Okay? Now, take note that bilirubin production or bilirubin is produced by the catabolism of hemoglobin, is converted to a water-soluble form. So yun yung ginagawa ng ating liver sa detoxification. In other words, yung ating liver is our gatekeeper. Okay. Now, there are two mechanisms of detoxification. Number one, bind the material reversibly to inactive compound or chemically modify the compound so that it will be excreted. Example na nga nun, yung ammonia na convert sa urea so that it will be excreted. I hope you can follow. Okay. Next, what does liver detoxify? Foreign materials, drugs, poisons. Metabolic products, bilirubin, ammonia. Okay? Yan yung dinodetoxify. Kaya yung liver dapat hindi maging fatty. Kasi pag naging fatty liver, nababalot na siya ng fats, nasisira yung action, yung function ng liver na mag-detoxify. Kaya kapag nasisira yung function ng liver, marami ng free radicals sa katawan mo kasi hindi na metabolize, hindi na na-detoxify, that's the right term, hindi na na-detoxify ng liver, hindi na na-eliminate through bowel or through urine. Okay? It must be excreted through urine or through feces. Okay? Our liver is also capable of what we call drug metabolizing. That is also one of the important actions or mechanism of the liver, responsible for the detoxification of many drugs through what processes? Oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, hydroxylation, carboxylation, demethylation. And there is an important enzyme in the metabolism of our drugs. And that is no other than our C4450, and that is termed as to be your cytochrome P450, which is an isoenzyme that metabolizes potential toxic substances in the body. Ang dami ko namang sinabi. No? Ulitin natin. Liver is also capable of detoxifying other substances, and that is the drugs. And how the liver detoxify drugs? These three mechanisms: oxidation, reduction. Kapag sinabi nating oxidation, reduction, redox, capable po dyan sa liver natin. Yung mga drugs, no, it contains chemicals. It contains organic products. It contains materials from microorganisms that can damage the body. Hydrolysis, breakdown. Sinisira mo yung composition into a acceptable component so that the body will not be or will not have a toxic effect. Will not cause a toxic effect. Carboxylation, no? Ibig sabihin, forming a carbon dioxide. Di ba kayo, decarboxylation, removal of carbon dioxide. And one of the most important enzyme in the metabolism of the drug in the detoxification is no other than our cytochrome P450. Okay? One of the actions of our liver is excretion and secretory function. Kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina at uulitin ko ulit, the major action of our liver, no, is to metabolize, synthesize. But our liver is also capable of excretion. Pero itong i-excrete ni liver, si kidney pa rin ang magtutunay or ang may final way to excrete. Kasi hindi naman nakadikit ang iyong liver sa iyong pantog. Okay? Remember that the major excretory function of the liver is the formation and excretion of bile acids. Bile acids. No, although the other metabolic processes may result in material being excreted that is usually done by the kidney, bile acid synthesis our cholesterol. And then directly excreted through the gallbladder. Ayan, no? No? Gallbladder, bile, and then doon siya sa bowels mapupunta. Pag-usapan natin yan mamaya. Okay? Na ano nga yung bile na yan? This is made up of bile acid or bile salts, bile pigment, no? Cholesterol, and other substances excreted by the blood are excreted from blood. And then the rate of production is 3 ml per day, and the rate of excretion is 1 liter per day. Aside from that, our liver is capable of storage of glycogen that could be converted into glucose that is being stimulated by glucagon. All fats and water-soluble substances or vitamins, ADEC, and the other vitamins are being stored in the liver. Now, what are the tests in measuring the hepatic synthetic functions? The useful quantifying the severity of the hepatic function. That's why we're doing this. No? Another thing is, these tests will help us to provide useful indices for assessing severity of liver function. What are those? Serum albumin, vitamin K dependent factors. And what are those vitamin K dependent factors? Factor 2, factor 7, factor 9, and factor 10. These are your vitamin K dependent factors. Ang palatandaan ko dyan, 1972. Ano naging 1972 yan? 10, 9, 7, 2. 1972, vitamin K, kailangan mong maging dependent. Okay, in the year 1972, yung vitamin K, kailangan mo na maging dependent. Again, total albumin, total protein, albumin, globulin, as well as the vitamin K dependent factors or coagulation factors, particularly this vitamin K, is the one that is helpful to assess the severity of liver diseases and our hepatic synthetic function. Ibig sabihin, kapag mababa po itong mga analyte na ito na nasisynthesize ng liver natin, ibig sabihin may problema na talaga sa liver mo. Kawawa ka naman. Now, how about for measuring the conjugation and excretion function? Dahil ang ating liver is also capable of what we call conjugation, then the analyte that would help us to assess the conjugation and excretion function of our liver is no other than our bilirubin and our delta bilirubin. Now, kapag may jaundice ka, ibig sabihin may problema na talaga sa conjugation mo. Kapag nagkameron ka ng bilirubin sa iyong excretion, meron ka rin problema sa conjugation at saka sa excretion mo. Okay, saan ba yung bilirubin na yan? Naririnig nyo itong bilirubin for many times. What is this bilirubin? That is the end product of the metabolism. Teka lang sir, parang itong bilirubin na ito nakinig ko rin sa kidney function. Tama. Kasi yung kidney natin, ini-excrete niya yung mga end product of hemoglobin metabolism. At ang isa doon, si bilirubin. And I want you to take note that bilirubin is the principal pigment of the bile. O, teka lang sir, yung bile kanina sinabi mo na pupunta sa gallbladder, yung bile na-excrete through feces. Di tama ka, naiintindihan mo ko. So, i-connect na natin ngayon itong mga pinag-uusapan natin ito. Yung bilirubin metabolism natin, mayroon ng tatlong phases. Pre-hepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. Okay. So para maintindihan mo, itong sinasabi ko ito kanina, na yung waste na yan, no, yung bile na yan, napupunta sa gallbladder, ina-excrete through feces, or sa kidneys through urine, ano ba yung nangyayari? At ang tanong, bakit ba ang stool? No? Bakit ba ang stool? Ang baryotic naman ang term ko. Bakit ang stool ay nagiging brown ang kulay? Bakit ang urine nagiging yellowish ang kulay? Dahil po yun saan? Sa breakdown ng bile? Sige, let's discuss. Remember that this is the normal metabolism of our bilirubin. No? This is not the first time that, I guess, this is not the first time na nakita mo siya. Pero if this is the first time, then makinig kang mabuti. Because I will explain it in this way. No? Remember that the bile pigment bilirubin is formed from the breakdown of hemoglobin molecule. Hemoglobin consists of protein chain. Ano change? Protein chains. Okay? Each contains porphyrins. O kaya nga dun sa metabolism, sa synthesis ng ating hemoglobin, nasisynthesize din rin ang porphyrins. Okay? Again, the heme or the bile pigment bilirubin is formed from the breakdown of hemoglobin molecule. Take note that our hemoglobin molecule consists of consists of protein and iron. No? And iron. Now take note. Once that the hemoglobin molecule is metabolized, what will happen? Okay? The iron is now then removed, and then more hemoglobin is now recycled. Therefore, the protein chain of our hemoglobin are hydrolyzed back to amino acid. Teka. Bakit naging amino acid? Kasi di ba ang protein mo composed of amino acid? Ano ngayon ang gagawin dyan? The portion of your porphyrins. So bakit na naman nagkameron sa ng porphyrins? Bakit? Kasi nga ang sabi natin, ang ating hemoglobin meron siyang porphyrin ring. Okay? Therefore, the portion of that porphyrin rings breaks and the cyclic structure becomes open. And that is a derivative of what we call bilirubin. Now, ito na. No, makinig ka. The further reduction of your biliverdin will give you your bilirubin. And this bilirubin is your unconjugated bilirubin. Kung matatandaan mo, yung ICTO test na tinuro ko sa inyo noon sa clinical microscopy, hindi naman si bilirubin ang tinidetect talaga niya eh. Si bilirubin, kino-convert back niya into biliverdin, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng green color ng reaction at an indication doon, meron kang biliverdin dahil nandoon si bilirubin. Right? Now, having said that this will form you, that this will give you your unconjugated bilirubin, ano na ngayon? Okay. Remember that this bilirubin is insoluble in water. E di para maging soluble siya at para makapag-transport siya, kailangan niya ng transporter at kailangan may mag-bind kay bilirubin. And that is no other than our albumin. Take note that most of our bilirubin molecules are loosely attached to our albumin. Kasi bakit? Kasi siya yung transporter. Huh? Siya yung transporter eh. So ano ngayon ang gagawin natin? Itong unconjugated bilirubin ito must be converted into conjugated one through the help of our liver. Si liver na naman. Dito papasok po tayo sa tinatawag nating hepatic phase. Okay? Now, when the protein or bilirubin complex reaches the liver, this bilirubin will be converted into our conjugated bilirubin. Okay? Mako-conjugate na ang ating bilirubin. Therefore, no, this liver can now pass or can now have an active transport. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, nasabi ko na to, uulitin ko lang, kapag po pala may problema ka sa iyong enzyme that will convert your unconjugated bilirubin in the liver to conjugated, tataas ang conjugated mo. And take note, Not dahil ito ay nangyayari sa pre-hepatic stage and there is an involvement of the destruction of RBC, increase in the destruction of RBC is what we call hemolysis. And if there is an hemolytic diseases, most especially for example of that is hemolytic disease of the newborn, there is an increase in the analyte called unconjugated bilirubin, and this unconjugated bilirubin is no other than your B1, no other than your indirect bilirubin. Okay, ulitin natin. Sabi natin that hemolysis is the destruction of the RBC. And this destruction of RBC will promote the production of these heme proteins and then the production of this water-insoluble substance, which is your bilirubin in our kumbaga in the name of unconjugated bilirubin. This unconjugated bilirubin will be now then converted to conjugated. Pero para makapag-transport ang ating conjugated one, ang ating bilirubin, kailangan meron siyang transporter. Kasi nga, siya ay ano? Siya ay isang water-insoluble. And that is no other than our albumin. Okay? Once it reaches the liver, it will be converted into conjugated. Ulitin ko lang ang sinabi ko. If there is an increase in hemolysis, there is an increase in the destruction of RBC. Example of that condition is hemolytic disease of the newborn. Therefore, mataas ang destruction ng RBC, mataas ang production ng ating unconjugated bilirubin in connection to hemolysis. Kaya kapag ikaw ay may hemolysis at mayroong bilirubinemia, ang mataas sa'yo is yung B1, ang mataas sa'yo is yung unconjugated. Bakit? Magiging mataas yan because of the destruction of the RBC. And the enzyme in the liver is not capable to convert all of the unconjugated one. Pwedeng mag-deficient ka na dito or pwedeng hindi na kaya i-convert lahat ng excess na unconjugated bilirubin mo. Okay? Ulitin ko, pre-hepatic stage pa lang yan. Pupunta pa lang tayo sa hepatic stage. Okay? Now, ano naman po yung mangyayari? Ano po yung mangyayari? After the molecule enters the hepatocytes, no? It will attach to what we call ligandin. Ligandin. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but I pronounce this ligandin every now and then. No? Simula't simula. Eh di ko mali man, eh di basta yan ang spelling. Ligandin. Okay? So again, after it reaches the hepatocytes, it will be binded to, or it will attach, that's the right term, it will attach to ligandin and Z proteins. Okay. Through the help of gluconic acid, which is a molecule, now through the help of gluconic acid and the enzyme UDPGT. Okay? Which stands for uridine diphosphate glucuronyl transferase, an enzyme. Okay. Take note, guys, that the formation of this enzyme will now conjugate the bilirubin into a water-soluble complex, and that is your conjugated one. Take note, no? Take note that the conjugated bilirubin can now be excreted into bile and into small intestine. Okay? Remember that once in the small intestine, there will be a small reabsorption of the bilirubin molecules. I-reabsorb pa naman pala ulit. Yes. There will be as small as 20% of reabsorption. Sabi natin, ito pong conjugated na to will be converted into urobilinogen by the bacteria that is present in our small intestine that will be excreted as a stool. And that is the reason why yung stercobilin, yun yung dahilan kung bakit brown ang kulay ng iyong stool. Okay? Bilirubin reduction, take note of this. Bilirubin reduction occurs producing a molecule known as your urobilinogen. No? Known as your urobilinogen. Now remember that these substances, that this urobilinogen may be excreted or may enter back into the hepatic circulation. And then once it go back to hepatic circulation, it will be excreted through bile, and some of the fractions of this urobilinogen, no, small portion, kagaya ng sinabi dito, small portion of this urobilinogen will be filtered by our kidneys, no, will be filtered by our kidneys, then will be excreted via urine, no, via urine, providing the color of our urine as a pale color because of urochrome. O, punta tayo dito. Kung may problema ka naman dito sa pagre-release ng iyong conjugated bilirubin, that is more on obstructive. Mayroong humaharang, mayroong harang, mayroong obstruction, and that is what we call obstructive jaundice. Ang sabi ko kanina, hemolysis, bilirubin 1. Obstruction, bilirubin 2. You're conjugated, you're direct. And that is the metabolism of your bilirubin. Ayan, pinakikita lang natin yung prehepatic stage. Ito naman yung hepatic stage. Ito yun. Uridine diphosphate glucuronyl transferase. And this is our post-hepatic stage. Okay? Now, let's compare our bilirubin 1 from our bilirubin 2. Again, this is your non-polar, indirect, water insoluble, unconjugated, slow-acting, hemobilirubin because of hemolysis, prehepatic bilirubin. Bilirubin 2 conjugated, water-soluble because na-convert na siya through the enzyme UDPD or through the formation of the gluconic acid. Polar, no, kaya naging soluble na siya. Direct, and cholebilirubin because it is associated with obstruction. 1 minute prompt, mabilis, fast reacting. Post-hepatic, bilirubin 1, pre-hepatic. Now, what are the conditions wherein there is an increase in our bilirubin 1 and bilirubin 2? These are just some of the conditions wherein bilirubin 1 and bilirubin 2 is increased. Again, sabi ko kanina, bilirubin 1 is more on hemolysis. No? Bilirubin 2 is more on obstruction. So tingnan po natin. Bilirubin 1 is increased in Gilbert syndrome, Sjogren-Najjar syndrome, hemolytic anemia, hepatocellular diseases, Dusy-Driscoll syndrome, G6PD deficiency. Our bilirubin 2 is increased in obstructive jaundice, obstructive jaundice or biliary obstruction, gallstones because of the gallstones, kaya mayroong biliary obstruction, pancreatic cancer, Dubin-Johnson syndrome, biliary atresia, and hepatocellular disease. Okay, so si hepatocellular, mataas sa bilirubin, mataas ang bilirubin 1, mataas din pala ang bilirubin 2. Now take note guys, any increase in bilirubin 1 or in bilirubin 2 may also increase in the total bilirubin. And I want you to take note of this. This is our what you call this? This is our normal values of bilirubin. As you can see, or as you notice, yung palang conjugated bilirubin mo can be okay to have a normal value of 0. Opo, okay lang na 0 yan. Take note guys, take note of this. Makikitandaan, no? Our conjugated bilirubin is okay to have the value of 0 because the normal value of our conjugated bilirubin is 0 to 0.2 milligrams per deciliter. Could you imagine? 0.2. Hindi ka pa naka 1. Now, how are we going to convert it? Our conversion factor is 17.10. No? To convert milligrams per deciliter to micromoles per liter, or micromoles per liter, our conversion factor is 17.10. Okay? Now, paano ba tayo nag-a-assay ng ating bilirubin? I want you to take note of this. Ayan pala may pagsulat pa akong nalalaman. I want you to take note of this. In the assay or in the quantification of total bilirubin, sino lang po yung dinidetect natin dito? Sino lang po yung tinetest natin dito? Si total bilirubin at saka si conjugated bilirubin. Kasi yung unconjugated, pwedeng derived values na lang yan. Bakit? If you will count for your total bilirubin, let's say for example, your total bilirubin is 0.5. No? 0.5. Ang iyong total bili. Your conjugated bilirubin is 0.4. Kapag minus mo lang yan, that will be 0. Mataas pala itong 0.04. 0.1, no? And it will give you your unconjugated of 0.04. Okay. Now take note of this. The danger of kernicterus. The danger of kernicterus is when your total bilirubin is greater than 20 micromoles per liter. What is greater than 20? What is 20 micromoles per liter in milligrams per deciliter? That is roughly 1.16. No? 1.16. At pag po ganun kataas ang inyong bilirubin, ang inyong total bilirubin, it must be reported immediately. No? It must be reported immediately. Okay? So for specimen collection and storage, the specimen of choice is serum. Okay? The preferred serum is the preferred sample for Evelyn Maloy. No, that should be Evelyn Maloy, hindi Maloy Evelyn. That is the preferred sample for Evelyn Maloy. Now, in Evelyn Maloy, there's addition of alcohol that will precipitate proteins causing interferences. Fasting sample is preferred because lipemia will increase, or lipemia will increase the bilirubin concentration. Definitely no to hemolysis, because hemolysis can increase your can decrease the reaction with diazotized sulfonic acid because of the destruction in the RBC. And take note that our sample must be protected against sun or against light, because this is a photosensitive light theory. Now, the sample, such as plasma or serum, should be separated from the red cells immediately. Okay? Pwede po siya sa room temperature for 2 days, provided that it is protected against direct light. Refrigerated at 4 degrees Celsius, 1 week. Again, must be protected from light. And negative 20 degrees, indefinite, no, for a lifetime. In other words, forever. So if you want to preserve your relation, try mo sa negative 20 degrees. Okay, so what are the methods of analysis? We have the Evelyn Maloy. I don't know why I put here Maloy Evelyn. And we have the Gentrasic. Now take note, guys, that in Evelyn Maloy 560 nanometers, and in Gentrasic growth higher, 600. Okay, 600 nanometers. Yung absorbance. Okay? Color reaction din po ito. No? The same color reaction is used to measure the direct form without the dissociation of our proteins. Now take note of this. pH is employed, or pH is important in Evelyn Malloy and Jendrasset graph. So parehas po silang importante. No? Take note, hindi po pwede ang hemolyzed. No? Because hemoglobin is the major interference in Evelyn Malloy test or in Evelyn Malloy method. However, less problem with Jendrasset graph. Alam ko ang tanong nyo sa isipan nyo, gagawin kaya namin itong bilirubin assay o naman? Okay? Gagawin po natin. Now, what is delta bilirubin? Okay? When we said delta bilirubin, delta bilirubin, that is a bilirubin bound to 2-albumin. And this is formed due to prolonged elevation of conjugated bilirubin because of biliary obstruction. Kung isipin natin, di ba yung conjugated naman, di na kailangan ng transporter kasi siya ay soluble na. But due to prolonged obstruction or because of the prolonged obstruction na naging dahilan kung bakit tumaas ang ating conjugated bilirubin, that's the reason why na-bound na ang ating conjugated bilirubin sa dalawang albumin. Now, jaundice, this is a condition of what we call discoloration of the skin, sclera, and mucus. Okay? This can be kernicterus. This can be prehepatic, hepatic, or post-hepatic jaundice. Okay? Kernicterus, B1 crosses the myelin-rich structure of brain. Okay? Makikikorrect po nito greater than 20. Wait, I got confused. Greater than 20 mg or greater than 20 micromoles? Yeah, I would like to clarify what I've said a while ago. That should be greater than 20 milligrams, not greater than 20 micromoles. Parehas na 20, but the unit must be milligrams per deciliter. Please check your notes. Okay, so like what I've said, jaundice is classified as prehepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. So pag-usapan natin ng prehepatic jaundice. Kapag sinabi natin prehepatic jaundice, that is your pre. Ano mataas ng bilirubin dapat dyan? Unconjugated. That is what we call unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. No? Prehepatic jaundice is seen because of the too much destruction of the RBC. And another condition that could be the leading cause of prehepatic jaundice is acute and chronic hemolytic anemias. Okay? And prehepatic jaundice, your indirect bilirubin or your unconjugated bilirubin may exceed as 5 milligrams per deciliter. Okay? Now, for that laboratory test, so B1 is increased, B2 is normal, total bilirubin is definitely increased, urobilinogen is normal. Sometimes decreased na din. Okay. For post-hepatic jaundice, this is a failure of the bile to flow to the intestine. Bakit po there is a failure of the bile to flow to the intestine? Because of the obstruction. Yan naman. Bilirubin 1 is normal, bilirubin 2 is increased. Definitely, total bilirubin is also increased. And since that there is a blockage of the flow of the bile to the intestine, your urobilinogen may be decreased or normal. During bilirubin is positive and ALP is positive. Increase, in other words. Nasabi ko na po ito sa inyo before, pero sasabihin ko ulit po sa inyo, ang palatandaan natin dyan is yung mnemonic na hayod. Hemolytic or hemolysis, indirect, obstruction, direct. Okay, take note of this, people of the Philippines, that the number one marker of obstructive jaundice is not actually the conjugated bilirubin, but that is our alkaline phosphatase. Okay? For hepatocellular combined jaundice, this is a condition wherein the hepatocyte is injured. And the reason on that is not because of hemolysis or obstruction, but because of viruses, because of alcoholic intake and parasites. No? This can be due to also to cirrhosis or viral hepatitis. I should discuss viral hepatitis, but I decided not to discuss viral hepatitis anymore because this will be discussed to you in mycology next sem and immunology next sem. So para naman meron kayong excitement pa to know about viral hepatitis, I decided not to discuss this. Please allow me to do that. No? Now, for hepatocellular combined jaundice, all of the bilirubin parameters natin or all of the bilirubin fractions is increased. Okay, B1, B2, as well as the total bilirubin. And there is a presence of our bilirubin in the urine. Now, let's discuss the diseases. We have here the Gilbert's syndrome. Gilbert's syndrome, the problem here is bilirubin transport deficit. So, ibig sabihin, there is an impaired cellular uptake of the bilirubin na nagiging dahilan kung bakit there is an increased fraction of bilirubin 1. And the total bilirubin increases from 1.5 to 3 or 4.5 in some cases. Now, how about Crigler-Najjar? Kanina double G, no? Those are both acceptable. Pero sabi, gawin na natin double G. Okay. The problem here naman, the reason why there is an increase in bilirubin 1 is because of the problem in the conjugation, which means we cannot convert our bilirubin 1 to bilirubin 2, and that is the reason, or the reason behind that is the deficiency of the enzyme glucuronil transferase that will convert or that will conjugate our bilirubin 1 to bilirubin 2. There are some cases, this is usually found in neonates, no? Ano yung ginagawa? Di ba pag madidilaw pa yung mga bata, kapag madidilaw pa yung mga bata, so, upon birth, ano yung ginagawa? Nagpa-phototherapy. Yung iniilawan sila. Okay? So, yun, ganun ang ginagawa sa Crigler-Najjar. Now, there are two types of Crigler-Najjar syndrome, type 1 and type 2. Sa type 1, the problem here is complete deficiency of the enzyme. And ito yung nataas ng sobrang taas ang ating total bilirubin, and that is what we call chronic errors. The most dangerous. While for type 2, there is a partial deficiency lang. And then small amounts of bilirubin 2 is produced. Now here, in type 1, since hindi ma-convert ang bilirubin 1 to bilirubin 2, yung bile nagiging colorless. Now, how about Verduben-Johnson syndrome? Verduben-Johnson syndrome or Rotor syndrome, the problem here is bilirubin excretion deficit, which means there is what we call obstruction. May blockage, may obstruction. At kapag po may obstruction, there is an increase in total bilirubin 2 and total bilirubin and your bilirubin 2. Okay? And then intense dark pigmentation of the liver because of the accumulation of lipofuscin pigment. Now, how about Lucey-Driscoll syndrome? In this condition naman, there is also a problem in the conjugation kasi merong nag-inhibit. Okay? Conjugation inhibitor, which means hyperconjugated or unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia due to the circulating inhibitor of the bilirubin conjugation. Ano ang mataas? B1. Ano ang problema? Sa Lucey-Driscoll inhibitor, mayroong conjugation inhibitor. Now, how about for the test for detoxification? Okay, we're almost done. We are almost done. For the test or detoxification, this includes enzyme test and ammonia test. Remember, yung enzyme mo, kaya siya tumataas is because there is a destruction. There are a lot of liver enzymes, but not because they are considered liver enzymes. They are specific only for liver. No. Remember, these people of the Philippines, my beloved students in clinical chemistry, there is no tissue-specific enzyme. You cannot generalize that ALT is for liver alone. No. You cannot say that AST is for liver alone. No. Take note, there is no tissue-specific enzyme. Now, to test the overall capacity of our liver to detoxify substances, then we have to analyze our enzymes. We have to analyze our ammonia, NPN. NPN, hindi NPA, okay? So for enzyme test, the reason why we are assessing the enzyme is to assess the injury of the cells. Remember, tumataas po ang iyong mga enzymes if there is a damage. Damage can cause increase in the activity of the enzymes. Injury to the cells caused by cytolysis or necrosis can increase the enzyme activity. And again, liver test, enzyme test is used to assess the extent of liver damage. ALP, aminotransferases such as ALT or AST, we have your 5 nucleotidases, GGT, OCT, this is ALP. Ayan na, tama pala, LAP, LAP and LDH. Okay? These are all enzymes that can be used to assess the detoxifying and the activity or the extent of the liver damage. Now for ammonia, since kailangan ma-release si ammonia, no, ammonia is increased in cases of the deamination of amino acids. And kapag po increase ang ating ammonia, no, that is a marker for detoxification. Siya yung list NPN. Bakit? Kasi naku-convert siya sa urea. Ano naman itong urea to? EPAL. No, kino-convert siya sa urea kasi yung ammonia toxic yan. Kailangan i-convert siya sa urea na mas kayang i-excrete ng katawan. Although toxic din naman siya. Now remember, increase in urea, decrease in urea, increase in ammonia, decrease in urea. Bakit? Meron kang problem sa enzyme na nagko-convert ng ammonia sa urea. At kapag may ganito kang condition, that is an indication of liver diseases. No? And take note guys that ammonia is used to diagnose hepatic failure and hepatic coma. Okay? Again, ammonia is a neurotoxic and associated with what we call encephalopathy. Lowers GABA. Ano yung GABA? Your gamma-aminobutyric acid for the synthesis of microorganisms. No? Increase in cirrhosis, hepatitis, and Reye's syndrome. Again, ano kaya ibig sabihin natin kapag sinabi natin Reye's syndrome? Ito po yung mga conditions na nangyari sa viral infection mostly sa mga bata. Okay? So this is the source of plasma ammonia, no, from intestine, dietary proteins, hydrolyzed into amino acids, deamination. Amino acids will be this can be your glutamate, no? And then these amino acids will be reabsorbed into the bloodstream, and then this glutamate will be converted into ammonia plus your alpha ketoglutarate, no? That will be excreted through urea, no? Ito namang glutamate will be converted into ammonia by our liver. Okay? And it undergoes the Krebs cycle, which is the end product of Krebs cycle is your urea that will be excreted through your urine. Okay? So for the liver function alteration during diseases, cirrhosis, tumor, Reye's syndrome, drug and alcoholic related disorders, as well as hepatitis. Now, what is cirrhosis? Again, cirrhosis is a scar in the in the tissue of the liver. Scars block the flow of the blood through the organ, and scars, no, is the response of the liver through the damage. However, these scars can prevent the normal function of our liver. Usually, cirrhosis has no signs or symptoms. Okay? Now, what will happen? What will happen if your liver deteriorates? If your liver deteriorates, then you will experience fatigue, nausea, unintended weight loss, jaundice, bleeding from the gastrointestinal tract, intense itching and swelling in the legs and abdomen. Okay? Cirrhosis has prolonged survival but poor prognosis. Now, there are other causes of cirrhosis. What are those? Chronic hepatitis B or C, or B, C, or D. Now, gusto ko sanang i-discuss pa ang hepatitis. Pero hayaan lang natin yung mycology at saka immunology teacher mo ang mag-discuss nito. Pati na yung mga HBsAg, no? Yung mga immunological markers. Hayaan na natin sila. Okay? This can also be due to inherited disorders. Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, Wilson syndrome or disease, hemochromatosis, or galactosemia. Okay? Then cirrhosis can be reversed, but treatment can stop or delay the progression. Ang sakit nun, no? You cannot reverse. Hindi mo na siya pwedeng magamot. Pero yung gamot na binibigay sa'yo para lang to slow down, to stop, to delay the progression, to total abolishment of the cells in the liver. Alcoholic cirrhosis is one of the conditions. Pag may alcoholic cirrhosis ka, there's no other drug on that. There's no other treatment on that but to stop drinking alcohol. Okay? Now, for hepatitis-related cirrhosis naman, that is due to interferon of the viral hepatitis. Sige na nga, I will give you a preview of hepatitis. Sino ba itong mga hepatitis na to? A, B, C, D, E, G. Okay? At gusto ko tandaan nyo sa lahat ng hepatitis B, sa lahat ng yan, si hepatitis B lang yung kakaiba. Bakit? Si hepatitis B lang yung alin? Yung DNA, Dane particle, hepatnaviridae, DNA virus. The rest, RNA viruses. Okay? And corticosteroids for autoimmune hepatitis can also cause hepatitis related to cirrhosis. Okay? Now, how about tumors? Yan. Tumors, pag primary liver cancer, begins in the liver cells. Okay? Kapag primary liver cancer, yung cancer nagmula talaga sa hepatocytes. Yung malignancy talaga nagmula sa hepatocytes. Ibig sabihin, yung major organ involved is yung liver mo talaga. At doon nang galing ang iyong cancer. Doon na-develop ang cancer cells. Kapag sinabi nating metastatic liver carcinoma, this means that the liver or the cancer cells does not originate on the liver itself, but came from the nearby organs na nag-spread na. Ayun yung masakit marinig sa doktor kapag kinamusta mo yung someone who you know na may cancer, at kapag ang sinabi ng doctor, the cancer is now starting to metastasize. It means the cancer cells are starting to spread. Now, for metastatic liver carcinoma, no, the cancer cells might originate from the lungs, liver, lungs, colon, and breast cancer. And actually, this is more common than the primary cancer. Diba? Sasabihin ako may liver cancer. Not because of the problem in the kidney and the liver itself, but nag-metastasize na. Mostly, yun ang ibig sabihin. Or yun ang pinagmumulan. metastatic liver cancer. Madalang lang, kaunti lang yung cases na talaga nagkameron ng liver carcinoma because of the damage in the liver cells or the development of malignancies in the liver cells. More on the metastasize, no? Metastatic. And then malignant, no? Alam naman yung pinagkaiba ng malignant. So alam ko naman differentiate na ito sa inyo sa histopath. So lagyan lang natin ng konting preview. Kapag malignant, hepatocellular carcinoma, bile duct obstruction. Kapag benign, no, yung okay naman, pero may mass, pero kailangan tanggalin, hepatocellular adenoma or hemangiomas. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng hepatocellular adenoma? Occurring exclusively in females of childbearing. Mga babaeng buntis. Ang hemangiomas naman, masses of the blood vessels with no etiology. Pero don't worry, because like what I've said, like what we have here, these are considered as benign. No? Reye syndrome, again, this is a group of disorder caused by infectious, metabolic, or toxic drug-induced disease, usually viral infections. No? And this is more common in children and rarer in adults. Often produce viral syndrome or preceded by viral syndrome nang galing sa mga viral infections. Varicella zoster ay herpes virus, gastroenteritis virus, madami yan, and influenza viruses. Okay? Again, pwede rin intake of aspirin during viral infection na naging dahilan kung bakit nag-promote ng Reye syndrome. Acute illness characterized by non-inflammatory encephalopathy. Okay, take note of this. Degeneration of the liver is characterized by, number 1, mild hyperbilirubinemia, threefold increase in ammonia, sobrang taas, and increase in aminotransferase, yung enzyme that could test the enzyme activity or severity of the liver damage. Sad to say, it has no treatment and can lead to deaths. Okay. Now, how about for drug-related disorders or drug-alcohol disorders? No, this can be due to adverse effects of the drugs. Usually, yung sinasabi, paracetamol. Kasi si paracetamol daw, generic, yung paracetamol is the generic name. Paracetamol daw, kilala din sa tawag na acetaminophen, mostly in the America. This is a hepatocellular, meron siyang hepatocellular toxicity. Sinisila niya yung hepatocytes, no? Ethanol, alcohol, no? 'Di ba sabi natin nung nag-discuss tayo, yung alcohol is a good to the heart because alcohol promotes the formation of your HDL. Pero mataas na HDL, ay di nawawala naman yung protective effect nito. O yun nga lang, no, mayroon kang alcohol intake, maganda nga yung heart mo, pero naapektuhan naman yung liver mo. Why? Because small amounts of this alcohol can cause very mild, transient, and unnoticed injury to the liver. Alcoholic cirrhosis, prolonged consumption. Okay, so what are the enzymes that can be useful to assess this ethanol damage? AST, ALT, GGT, and ALT. GGT. Kapag yung GGT mo is 5-folds, sobrang taas ng GGT mo, that is an indication of alcoholic cirrhosis. Take note of that, people of the Philippines. Mataas po ang GGT, sobrang taas ng GGT, that is an indication of alcoholic cirrhosis. And alcoholic cirrhosis is due to prolonged alcohol consumption. Okay? And to synthesize the discussion, there are a lot of functions of ng ating liver. And in order for you to remember these functions, I want you to remember this mnemonic: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Albumin synthesis, bile production, okay? Albumin synthesis, bile production, cholesterol management, detoxification of drugs and alcohol, excretion, factors for the clotting, glycogen storage, and hormone production. Ano po yung hormone na napoproduce ng liver? Beta-troponin, beta-troponin, angiotensinogen, alam niyo yan, thrombopoietin, and your hepcidin. Hep, H-E-P-C-I-D-I-N. Again, remember guys, this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H functions of our liver. Synthesis of albumin synthesis, bile production, cholesterol metabolism, detoxification of drugs and alcohol, excretion, factors for clotting, glycogen storage, and hormone production. Hormone production, BAT, B-A-T-H, beta-troponin, angiotensinogen, thrombopoietin, and hepcidin. With that synthesis, I'm leaving you with the words, maraming salamat sa pakikinig, sa panonood ng mga lectures na aking ina-upload sa YouTube upang maibahagi sa inyo ang lessons about clinical chemistry. And this slide comments my discussion in clinical chemistry. Congratulations everyone, you are now done in the part 1 of your clinical chemistry. Wishing you all the best and hoping for the best, that you will always remember the basic principles of clinical chemistry to understand the mechanism of the body, to understand what is happening in the body, to understand the clinical or the chemical processes of the body, to understand the chemistry of the human body. I hope I was able to give you a better foundation of your clinical chemistry. Many are saying that clinical chemistry is the easiest subject in the board exam. That's true. In fact, this is my highest in the board exam. But you have to remember that this chemistry is what is happening in our body. I am always keep on saying in my first year students, you have to love chemistry in order for you to understand it. Mahirap, pero masarap aralin. Again, maraming salamat, and I hope you learn not only the foundations of clinical chemistry, but also to relate other subjects or other metabolism na nangyayari sa katawan natin. Sana naintindihan nyo. Kung hindi man 100%, I am hoping that at least 90% ang taas, at least 75% ay matandaan nyo. Lalong-lalo na guys, yung mga normal values. Remember, you are an allied people. You are a medical people. You are a medical student. People will come to you and ask you to interpret, to explain. Nakakahiya naman na ikaw mismo di mo kayang ipaliwanag sa kamag-anak. Kahit yun na lang. Okay? Before I end, I would like you to know that I am proud that you were able to to reach this slide. Once again, maraming salamat at tayo magkita-kita sa maging ating pagkikita.